Welcome to the Nerd Out. I'm Riley Trahan. I'm joined by Jackson Trahan and Deepak Jitness, and we are here on a Friday to do some fun stuff. So, we're still transitioning into our kind of new era. So, in case you don't know, the Nerd Out is going to be the end of the week show where we have some more fun with the news of the week. It'll be less structured. It's not going to be us going through the news as much as it's just going to be us talking about entertainment news related whatnots. So just so you know, before we get started, we're here, of course, today on Friday talking about the hype draft. Jackson and I will be back on Sunday to give you everything that you need to know about the Knights of the Seven Kingdoms books, which are those actually called the Hedge Knight, Jack? I always get confused about the titles of the shows versus the adaptation things.
I believe the first one is called The Hedge Knight.
And that's really the one.
Series are the Tales of Dunk and Egg.
Mm-hmm. We're really going to be honing in, I think, on the Hedge Knight in that first episode, getting ready for season one. And then, of course, next Friday, Bruno and I are going to be back. Bruno's off today, taking a well-deserved holiday, but he will be back next Friday, and he and I are going to be checking in on the Energon comic book universe. So that's everything happening with the Transformers, with the G.I. Joes, and then with the Robert Kirkman original story, Void Rivals. All three of those kind of take place in the same world. We're going to be checking in on that. So make sure you head over to nerdigo.com and hit subscribe or follow us at Nerdigo Media on the socials so you don't miss any of that. All right, boys, let's get to the business of the day. We are drafting what we are most looking forward to next year. So we've all got little lists of the stuff we're hoping to get our mitts on. We're going to put together teams of 4 or 5. We'll see how we're feeling when we get there. And then we're going to ask the listeners to vote for who has the best team. Anybody really dying to go first or last or anything? We hadn't talked about the order before we got in here.
Because I won the Hallmark game, I'll go ahead and defer.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
You'll receive the first pick in the second half. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fair enough. Well, we'll probably do a snake style, so that's fine. You can go last. Jack, do you want to flip a virtual coin to see if who goes first and second between the two of us?
Oh, I'll give you seniority. You're the elder brother. It seems fair.
Interesting.
I'll go in the middle.
That's fine. I'll take first pick if first pick is being offered. I'm happy to have it. I've thought a lot about what I would do with this slot if an opportunity came to me. I didn't expect to have it. I'm gonna maybe take a controversial selection here because who knows if my pick actually comes out in 2026.
Oh.
But with the first round of the 2026 hype draft, I will take Grand Theft Auto 6, a game that I am continuing to be hyped for. A game I think a lot of people are hyped for. A game, if and when we discover it exists, I'm sure will be great. But it is a little bit dicey, I think.
It is. It's a little risk reward because you're right. The hype behind it is undeniable.
The hype is real.
One has to question. It's already scheduled for mid 2026.
Right, after getting pushed back already.
And it's been delayed before.
Yeah. All right,
We'll see.
I wasn't sure, but I feel
bold first
with
move.
that. I'm going to go GTA 6 as my top pick of the 2026 hype draft.
Wow. The 1-1 overall.
Yeah. When we know historically, those always do so good, especially when people I support have picked them. So,
I'm gonna sort of similarly. I think for my first pick, I'm gonna take something that I'm maybe not personally very hyped about, but that I've been surprised by the amount of hype I've seen on the internet for it. So I think I'm gonna take Avengers Doomsday.
This was I was between these two, so I think you did well.
Which does feel like it's shaping itself up to be the biggest cultural, or it certainly wants to be another sort of a cultural landmark in our water cooler discussions. I feel like the Avengers and the Marvel stuff hasn't impressed me lately so much, but with these new trailers, now everybody online, I feel like, is a chit-chatting again.
When it comes to hype, the hype certainly does seem to be real around Doomsday. Whether or not the quality of the thing ends up being there, it does feel like this is the first thing in a long time that Marvel heads have been like, and maybe that is partially motivated by these leaks we've seen over the last couple weeks. I mean, we can talk a little bit about that now. We are sort of ostensibly doing at least a little bit of the news, but that it was sort of the
not even leaks, but the trailers are just coming out now in earnest.
Mm-hmm. But I feel like it was the Spider-Man, like Holland swinging through actual Scotland. Like people were so frothy for that over the summer. And then it's been like this sort of PR campaign of both dual leaks and actual releases that I feel like it's been a long time since I've seen anybody that excited about any Marvel stuff.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that, which is why I wanted to snatch it up. But we'll see. And now it has to compete with what I have a feeling might be the third pick, but we'll talk about it when we get there.
Well, he's got 2 in a row here because we're going the old snake style. So Deepak.
That's true. Oh, jeez.
Yeah. So for my first pick, you know, I was gonna go with Avengers, and now I'm kind of glad that I get to do this instead. We have one of the all-time great directors, certainly one of the greatest currently, coming off of his long overdue Oscar win. And the first project he chooses to do with that newfound cachet is adapt one of the oldest stories ever told. Riley, you're a blank check guy. You know how cool it is to see a director.
It's very badass.
Get the awards glory, and then, they say blank check to do whatever they want. So in that sense, Nolan cashing in whatever check he had to get to do this is super exciting. And the trailer that came out recently, I did not see it in the theater, unfortunately. I saw it on YouTube, but looks very, very good. So yeah, my pick is The Odyssey.
Now, we did get to see only a little bit of that preview scene in IMAX theater when we went to Avatar, but we were running a little late, so we didn't get the full experience.
But it looked pretty cool from what we saw.
About it. Yeah.
This is the Trojan horse bit.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. Starts. Yeah. I was also, I have been taken aback, and maybe I'm taking this personally. I don't mean to be. If I am, please let me know, and I'll try and adjust my reaction. But I've noticed everybody. Have you guys seen the Christopher Nolan is colorblind discourse really getting kicked up lately?
Oh yeah, which is why the posters are all blue and black.
Yeah, so everybody's like been going into the archives and all that and pointing to his color grading just historically and being like, by the way, this is why there's no green in these movies.
There's also something being I can't remember someone told me in person when I was in LA, or I read it online, but that he has a hearing issue, which is why the movies are mixed that way.
I continue to find them good. Maybe it's just my colorblind hearing loss over here, but
you're also.
I mean, Riley, here's the thing: you may be alone on that hill because no one else likes this.
That's the thing. Nobody else seems to like the pictures. As far as we always walk out going too blue, too quiet.
We're constantly out here championing those whose voice is not heard by the masses.
Not heard by the masses. Yeah. Well, it'll be nice to see if he can finally make, contact on this one and connect with an audience. It would be fun. I think of how fun it would be.
He's won over the art house people.
That's really the critics have been on his side for years, but it's the populace that I feel like would really connect with his pictures if they ever chuck him out.
Crossover hit is what.
Maybe he should do a scary clown. What's your second pick, Deepak?
My second pick is a guy who I think, as far as his career goes, and certainly his art house to populist to cult of personality career trek mirrors that of the man we just talked about. And I'm speaking, of course, of Denis Villeneuve. Anytime he makes a movie, it's exciting. Anytime he makes a movie about sandworms, it's doubly exciting. And my pick would be Dune 3, Dune Messiah. I think they're calling it. Are they calling it Dune Messiah or Dune Part 3?
I think that the official title is probably Dune Part 3. Yes.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
On the internet, the phrase Dune Messiah, I think, really just an internal language that we've continued to use in our documents. But no, Dune Part 3.
Yeah, looking forward to that. I mean, I thought the second one was really, really good. The first one was also very good.
How do you feel about young Denny bringing his talents to James? We haven't talked about it a ton.
Jameson.
He's an excellent director. I don't know that he's someone I see doing Bond, because tonally I thought they were going in a lighter direction after Craig. And when you get Villeneuve, you're doing Sicario, Prisoners. You're not doing the lighter one. So that, I also want to know how much influence he'll have on picking the actor. Yeah, because even if he only does one movie, he's casting for this movie. He's making a decision that'll have an impact over ostensibly 10 years.
Yeah.
So it's a surprising choice, but he's obviously great. So I'm hoping for the best.
I'm with you. It could be good. I saw a thing, this was a little while ago now, but that Callum Turner had sort of become his top pick. So
he is being talked about a lot because of the Dua Lipa engagement something in the
Oh,
news,
is
and I
that
think people have suddenly realized, oh, there's like a mid-30s British guy who looks good in a blazer.
looks good next to attractive women in a suit? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, look, if
that'll
he
do a
ends
lot
up
for you when you're trying to get this part.
right, and if he ends up being the pick, so be it. Like I've seen him in the Grindelwald movies, and I've seen him in Green Room with the late Anton Yelchin and Patrick Stewart, which is really good, underrated movie. Nothing in there makes me think he'd be a bad James Bond. Nothing in there, of course, also makes me think he'd be like, oh my god, a slam dunk. So
Yeah, right. Before we move on from just we sort of ended up here askance, and I'm giving Jack a little bit more time to think about a second pick. But did you all see the news of the day? Friend of the show, Sir Idris Elba.
mm-hmm.
I thought that was fun. He made it. He got that knighthood, baby.
There we go.
He deserves it.
Probably not going to end up being James, although I did like. Did you guys see? He said his wife made him do it. Was the caption? But he was like at some sort of exhibit, and they had all wax statues of all the James Bonds, and he just posed up at the end. He didn't look bad.
Idris Elba for M would be fun.
Ooh.
Oh, now we're getting someone. That's how long we've been having this conversation. Is people who qualified at the beginning are now qualifying for the grizzled old role.
The M stands for meta.
Jackson, you've got two heavyweights of films on Deepak's card here. How do you respond?
Well, listen. How is this measured? Because a lot of people get hyped in a lot of different ways. And my thought was that there's very few audiences that get more excited than small children.
I think that's fair.
And so following in my wake of films that I'm not necessarily excited about, but I know will make $1 trillion, I'm going to take the Mario Galaxy movie.
Fair enough. That will be a blockbuster. And Jack, it's a good point. I wouldn't be opposed to some sort of a metric we could use where we take, critical rating scores of these things and multiply them by box office or whatever else. I would leave that up to you. But I believe we could find some sort of a math way to find a winner for this by the end of the year.
I'm just saying, if repeated viewings count for anything, then I think every 8-year-old Mario fan counts for at least 2 Dune heads or whatever.
You got to figure out a way to get Peacock to release you those internal numbers.
Right.
If you can forget the streaming numbers on the Super Mario Galaxy movie, I think you'll be set. Is this just going to be... Now, I've seen, speaking of leaks, I don't mean to... If anybody's precious about the Super Mario Galaxy movie, I don't want to speak out of turn here. But has anyone seen any of the supposed leaks for the Super Mario Galaxy movie? Because I have, and I'm not against them.
No.
I don't know if I've seen anything I'd call a leak. What have you seen? I'm not opposed to it at all.
So I suppose the biggest thing I've seen is rumors of Wario coming into the picture. Initially, there was a leak that I saw that said that Wario was just going to be like a guy they worked with in the real world.
Sure.
Although I did then see a lot of people thinking that if Bowser Jr. was making that paintbrush work, that
maybe he makes like messed up, twisted versions of our boys.
Exactly, yeah. And I thought that could be fun. But in general, this is going to be, I think, a Mario mythology that I'm less familiar with, right? Like the Galaxy stuff, I feel like is more modern, and I haven't really always kept up. So I'm excited to see what they do choose to work in here. I'd love to see Yoshi if I could.
I know they teased Yoshi at the end of the last film, and I feel like we really haven't seen that green boy.
No.
Been much more focused on Bowser Jr. and Rosalina and all that, but it does seem like they're looking to expand the cast.
Deepak, is 1.5 gonna be maybe we go see the Mario Galaxy movie, or are we waiting to 2 for that sort of a thing?
What do you mean 1.5?
I'm saying you have a young boy
in your lab.
No, I don't think he's ready for that.
But he's not theater ready.
No,
that's. I just have no idea with these things. People say to me things like,
"But I didn't even see the first one in theaters on my own, so I waited for Peacock."
Well, I don't know how dependent it's really going to be.
Well, I think with my next pick, I'm going to take something that Deepak's definitely going to see in theaters, and I would encourage him to take his son to see in theaters as well, because sort of to Jack's point about culture kind of moving past.
He's definitely not ready for this yet.
I'm sort of trying. No, I think he's very ready for this because there's a little Grogu in it, and he's going to love it. And it's Star Wars and the Mandalorian and Grogu. I'm taking Star Wars.
He's gonna look and he's gonna be like, "That's like me and my dad."
That's like me and my dad.
He's playing with the little Grogu doll already.
Yeah, he is. Perfect. Very good. Could make $0. Let's all be honest about this. Could make literally no money.
I mean, boy, howdy. When did the show come out again?
The show started in 2016, did it not?
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Oh my
And
God.
it is.
No, it was 2018, I think. 16 was Rogue One. Did Mandalorian start before Rogue One?
No. It must.
No
have
way.
You're right. Mandalorian season 1.
2019. November.
There we go.
Oh, well, that certainly sounds more accurate.
Right before everything went really cool.
You know, all the good times that were happening then, right at the very, very end of 2019. It's like the ultimate Disney Plus problem, right? We talk about this with every single thing Disney puts out that people are like, oh, I'll just wait till it's on Disney Plus. I don't know if adapting a Disney Plus property and taking it to movie theaters is going to result in this pick turning into boffo bucks for me at the box office.
Is it being pitched as a finale to the show, or
yes,
a culmination of Ahsoka and whatever, Acolyte and all that?
Yeah, I think it's even all of those shows that were weirdly connected.
I think that is the idea. I think it's going to be the Mandalorian and Grogu fight Thrawn is like sort of how it looks like they're setting it up.
Yeah, I think that's how you get people off the couch, right? You say,
I would guess, yeah. But I just don't even know if Star Wars we're in such a weird time. The idea that like, will this Star Wars movie do well in theaters? I don't know. We'll have to see.
Well, there's like perpetual cycles of experimentation with the studios and these IPs trying to figure out what's going to work. And by the time they kind of figure something out, we're on to the next thing already.
Mm-hmm.
And this feels again like them. Okay, so what the TV stuff that we did, what do we do with that now? This is them trying to just kind of throw spaghetti at the wall and see if it sticks.
I think that is correct. And this team, they've got Babu Frick in there.
Yeah, I think
they've got Rada the Hutt.
Yeah, right. Yoked
Jeremy
the bear.
Allen White as
Yoked Bear Hut, cuz. If people don't show up for that, what will they show up for? We don't know. We're Star Wars. We got confused a while ago.
What was the last theatrical Star Wars movie? Was Episode 9?
The Rise of Skywalker, you may remember. The bad ending one.
I think this will do good.
I think this will do better than that. Yeah, I was having I don't know if it'll
do better than that, but it'll be better than that, sure. But
I felt like I had a really informative conversation.
Over $1 billion. I don't know if this does that.
I was talking to Maggie about this. We got to figure out a way to get my nephew, young Jackson, onto the show. We might have to like anonymize his face or whatever, since he's still a boy. But he's a big fan of The Mandalorian. He's probably the biggest Mandalorian fan I know. And he was telling me about how there's a Mandalorian movie coming out this year. And we were chatting about it at the holidays. And I asked him, I said, hey, Jackson, do you think a Star Wars movie, in order to count as a Star Wars movie, needs to have, and then we went through some stuff, the Force, lightsabers, etc. No, he doesn't need any of that. He wants his buddy, the Mandalorian, to be there. And that's a Star Wars movie. And I was just like, man, what a different time we're in. Like, I get it. It's not how I think about it. And if they can make a movie for that kid, I think they're going to do great. They need all those kids to show up, right? They don't need this guy there.
Certainly, yeah. There's something to that.
Speaking of movies who do want this guy there, I'm taking the Clayface movie, which comes out on 9/11. Never forget. It is sort of our only Batman entry this year. Yeah, I think it'll be mostly based on Batman Revolution, that novel I read last 2 years ago now. That was a Clayface story that I really enjoyed. So I'm interested to see what happens there. And I do kind of like, September as a spot for like a Batman villain movie. I think that could do well kind of before a lot of the prestige stuff pops, but after the September, big names are done. So I feel like Clayface will be there for me. That'll be like, that's going to be a solid base for my entries regardless. Even if some of my other stuff doesn't do as well as I think it should, I feel like I can expect Clayface to put up 8 to 10 million, and I expect he will.
Gosh, all right. So I'm perusing over this list, and I'm considering how we want to do this. And as far as my own sort of personal hype, I can maybe cash in on my own nostalgia a little bit and give myself an excuse to talk about The Legend of Aang, The Last Airbender.
Of course. This one's just going to get lost in the Avatar shuffle and make $1 billion like accidentally.
Yeah, that's everyone will be like, "Oh, I love going to those Avatar flicks." Well, it certainly seems like the gosh, who owns this now? Who is doing this whole Paramount? It
Paramount.
certainly seems that Paramount believes in this IP as they are reviving it in every way imaginable. And I'm not going to complain as someone with an enormous amount of nostalgia for it, but I will be real that this film feels like the most achievable of all of their goals.
Yeah.
To do a pretty straight little nostalgia grab on an old beloved animated feature is not super difficult. I'm sure the story will be competent and it'll be animated pretty and all of that. So I do think that this magic system in this world in general works much better animated than it ever has in live action, both because for a lot of reasons. I'm open to being proven wrong about that, but
Is this
for
their
all of
War
that,
of
I'm
the-
most excited for this one in particular.
Is this their War of the Rohirrim?
This is, well, sort of, except that it started animated, but they keep trying to do live action adaptations.
Keep sort of having these false start live action adaptations that don't go anywhere.
So now they're finally just doing an animated movie.
And this one's going to feature Batista as adult Aang, which I think is a cool move.
Yeah, I saw you put this in the note, and I don't think that's correct. Everything that I have seen says that Batista is the villain, which feels much more in character casting wise.
Well, maybe
the adult Aang is a K-pop star, which again also feels more on brand. I want Batista to be I want Aang to be shredded.
I do. I mean, that's what I want for Aang, is I want him to turn into Dave Batista.
Yeah, right. But I don't think that that's the direction they're going in necessarily. But we have Stephen Young cast as Zuko, who I think he has played Zuko before, and we have people cast for all of the other beloved roles, Katara and Sokka and Toph. So I'm excited. Taika Waititi is apparently going to be in the cast somehow, which will probably be in some comedic role that will not be tonally off from the rest of
As
the
long
show.
as he's not in the director's chair, I think you'll be okay.
I don't believe so, no.
Yeah, Ke Kwan in the mix. It's gonna be a lot of cool
So I don't
guys.
know. I think for a certain age of person around my age, this will play very well.
I definitely think it bodes well if you sort of look at the plans Skydance seems to have for the Paramount IP. I think it bodes well that Aang is getting wheeled out before we even start thinking about how we're wrapping up Fast and Furious. That definitely makes
Right.
me feel good about the future of my franchise. That we're doing another pass at Aang, and we have just not even touched the concept of Fast 10 Part 2 or whatever it's called. Deepak, you got 2 picks now.
You guys are leaving me some really good stuff.
It's a big year.
I'm going to continue collecting great directors and go with the long overdue prodigal son returning in the form of one Steven Spielberg.
Of course,
Doing
of course.
Disclosure Day, which is June 12th.
Yeah, because of the title, I forgot that's such a big thing.
Yeah, I did see the trailer for this. It looks very cool. I love Spielberg doing dark alien, dark sci-fi. I like him doing any kind of sci-fi, really. Not much to say. Cast looks good. Josh O'Connor's the lead, who just did the Knives Out threequel. He was very good in that, so that bodes well for this movie. So yeah, Disclosure Day would be my third pick.
Yeah, I think this one looks really solid. I'm excited for Spielberg to get back mixing it up with the aliens again.
And my
I did
next
forget we got that announcement.
Yeah. And my next pick, again, speaking of great directors, Nolan, Villeneuve, Spielberg, Destin Daniel Cretton, doing
of course,
another big summer movie.
One of your
Man
favorites.
Spider. The new Spider-Man movie, Brand New Day, that will feature no less than 17 villains, apparently.
Yeah, right.
Sadie Sink playing not Jean Grey.
Probably not. Be weird.
Playing one of the villains.
John Bernthal playing the Punisher. Mark Ruffalo playing the Hulk. This is also the second movie of the summer with John Bernthal, Tom Holland, and Zendaya. I did draft earlier the other one.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I mean, I didn't really care for the last Spider-Man movie all that much, but I do care for Spider-Man a great deal.
Hmm.
So I will go see this.
This one does seem like it would be cool if it
Mhm.
is what everyone is kind of saying it is. But I'm with like
Street level Spider-Man kind of 90s.
Yeah.
Stuff, I think.
mixing it up with Tombstone or Scorpion or whoever.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't need him getting thrown out into space again. Him
Yes,
just
stop that.
incidentally meeting Jean Grey or whatever, I think could be fun.
Mhm.
But it's certainly the practical web swinging thing. I'm just really excited to see what that looks like in the theater. We started to get like little peeks of it in the trailer, the trailer leak that
Mhm.
people were circulating. And it just looks cool. Like I think it works a lot, and everybody always said it would never work, and I think it looks badass as hell. The idea that they just stuck him on the back of a truck with like a bungee cord and we're like, look like you're flying, is a novel way to make a movie, in my opinion. All right, so I think we'll go to 5, Jackson. That'll give you another pick here, and then I'll do 2 more, and then we'll close out with Jack and Deepak to end it out. I think that'll be a good amount of stuff for us to
Gosh.
hit.
All right, all right.
Then maybe we can also mention some just like, also rans or whatever. Deepak called out the Barenthal Zendaya overlap. I will also mention, have you guys seen that there are 3 pictures coming out this year with Robert Pattinson and Zendaya in them?
I did. I just saw that other
The
one.
wedding? What
The
is it?
third one.
They're doing the wedding or the romance or whatever it's called. The A24.
Yeah.
I guess he's a serial killer or something. He's like a robot.
There's something going on.
Something's going on with him. And then there's Dune and the Odyssey.
Mm-hmm.
I keep forgetting he's in Dune.
Can't forget he's in Dune. We were driving
He's
back.
a very forgettable actor, Riley.
Now hold on.
He's not a notable face at all.
We were driving back from a holiday thing over the weekend, and I found myself somehow like 10 to 15 minutes into an argument in favor of Netflix just pulling the Pattinson verse into the main DCU line. And Maggie just stops me at one point and goes, "But if it wasn't Robert, would you have this same opinion? Or is it just that it's him?"
I mean, that's a part of it.
It is a part of it for sure.
Well, we've talked about Bond enough. I suppose I should take the only actual Bond thing that we know is coming out, 007 First Light, the new James Bond video game from one of my favorite developers, IOI, the makers of the Hitman franchise, who we just got a new trailer and some new, some interesting villain casting at the Game Awards.
How do you feel about Lenny Kravitz as the villain in a James Bond universe, Jackson? He does sort of have the right vibe. I don't know if I've ever seen him act in anything, but just sort of on the tin, I feel like it is what you want it.
I think that's the surprising part, is that it is him. But yeah, he sort of looks like a James Bond villain in real life. So I guess it works in that way.
It'd be funny if his big villain move was to let his leather pants split open again.
It's interesting because the Hitman games feature celebrities often in these like optional extra missions that are usually limited time events where you can go and murder a celebrity in a fancy place. And so it's not like completely out of character for them to do something like this, but it is maybe put a little more front and center than it was with the Hitman games. But also, Bond villains are like a big part of the cell, I think, and having a big personality there. Certainly doing almost exactly the same thing worked very well when they cast Keanu Reeves for Cyberpunk. Drove up an enormous amount of hype. Not that I think Lenny Kravitz is maybe on the same level of celebrity there, but you know.
Well, I should correct myself because I pulled up Lenny Kravitz's Wikipedia so we could have some fun. And before I could even get to the Rugrats movie, which of course he voices a newborn baby in, or Zoolander, in which he of course has a cameo role as himself, I was reminded that I actually was kind of impressed by how Lenny Kravitz handled himself in the Hunger Games movies.
That's right. I forgot. I remembered that he was a real actor in a movie, but I couldn't remember what it was. But yeah, it was the Hunger Games.
He does have to do some stuff in them, like and I think he handles himself well. Sure,
let him casting not as himself.
Right. Yeah. So for sure, fine. Bond villain it is, says I.
Yeah, whatever. I look forward to shooting him in the head or whatever I get to do.
I think though, Jack, you and I were so worried that like how was the Hitman aesthetic going to translate to Bond? And I do
Yeah.
feel like in the trailers we've seen so far, they do seem like they're handling it well.
Yeah, and they've shown off some extra like social maneuvering and stuff. They showed a clip of like Bond getting into a different outfit and then some guards run by and you can like send them off in the wrong direction. You can be like, he went down that way. And I think that sort of stuff will play really well. There's not a lot of talking at all in the Hitman games.
No.
So I think they're adding a lot there, and they're adding the gadgets and they're adding the driving. Like, I think they're taking the Hitman framework and adding all the stuff that I think of when I think of Bond. And I think that's a good way to approach it. So I'm excited.
All right. I got 2 picks left here. I'm basically making both of them right now, and that's going to be my list. And I feel like with my final 2, like I feel like I've got with Star Wars, GTA 6, and Clayface, I feel like I sort of have a good representation of kind of the IP side of getting hyped for 2026. With my final 2 selections, I would like to maybe hew a little bit more towards my own personal interests, or maybe like represent myself a little bit more here. So the first thing I'm going to take is going to be A Night of the Seven Kingdoms. I'm excited about this show for a lot of reasons. I think a half-hour Game of Thrones show, it has big potential. Like, I do think that there are just people who want a half-hour show, and we haven't had that in Game of Thrones.
Easy
before.
breezy.
I think it'll be, along with that, this sort of seems like it's going to be a fun show where we're not necessarily doing murder and like incest every episode constantly. And some of those other shows really like to prop some of that stuff up. So I think this could be a fun Game of Thrones show for people who want to have fun time in a good medieval setting. I think the story is worthwhile and exciting, and I think people will have fun with that. But the fact that it's not like labored down with dragons or lineage or like high court politics, I think it'll be a really accessible show for people. So I'm excited for Night of the Seven Kingdoms. I think HBO gets their mojo back a little bit here with that show. And listen, I'm just a man who studied English literature in high school and who likes to get
sure.
So I'm going to take Wuthering Heights. Why not? Let's get it on the list. I think that Emerald Fennell makes a fine, horny picture. And, you know, why not see Jacob Elordi?
And these heights are so wuthering.
They're so windy, these heights. The wind just won't stop blowing up here. So yeah, that'll kind of be my wild card pick, is I'll take Wuthering Heights.
Yeah. Well, listen, every now and then, you know, like Bridgerton came out and everybody got all
lost their dang minds for it.
About it. Yeah, you never know which one's gonna connect.
Mm-hmm. So just to recap, my 5 are Grand Theft Auto 6, The Mandalorian and Grogu, Clayface, A Night of the Seven Kingdoms, and Wuthering Heights.
I don't think it's a bad list.
You get one more pick here, Jack.
I know. I'm sorry. I don't mean to take too long. I'm perusing. I'm a little tempted to take maybe like a live event. We have a few of those that haven't been.
We do.
Propped up, like the Olympics or the Super Bowl or the Grammys or the Oscars, things like that. But I think I'm also kind of want to take a bit of a pivot.
Okay.
Because one thing that I've been surprisingly excited about, is the new Street Fighter movie.
Okay. Why not? Why not Street Fighter Parens 2026?
So, for anyone uninitiated,
this is definitely going to be the one Roman Reigns doesn't get cut out of.
Well, there's that. Street Fighter is a video game that was adapted into all sorts of live action fighting IPs, including in the 90s. There was a pretty infamous one that has a lot of these like terrible lines and deliveries and is just sort of very corny. And I think the 2026 Street Fighter has recently seemed to be pivoting more in like this sort of campy tone that's leaning into the 90s nostalgia of it.
It does seem to be saying, what if bad was good?
Yeah, and I think there might be a potential here for a certain type of people to really go nuts for this movie if it leans in the right way. So I don't know, in a time when everybody is taking all of their silly childhood IPs so seriously, I think we can have fun with the movie where you punch each other so hard your spine dissolves.
Well, and I did think for a second, Jack, just looking at the list of live events that we had here, I did think that it was pretty likely that you ended up taking WrestleMania 42. I think you may
WrestleMania
have
was also being considered. I don't know if Bruno's going to get to pick at our scraps at all, but I didn't want to take it from him
you may have ended up with more wrestlers here in Street Fighter.
in Street Fighter than I would have in WrestleMania. That's a good point. Well, we need big boys
We need some big boys
to look
I
all
wanna see-
muscly.
I want to see 50 Cent and Jason Momoa fight each other in this movie. That's what I'm here.
Pardon. So that leaves me with Doomsday, the Super Mario Galaxy movie, The Legend of Aang: The Last Airbender, 007 First Light, and Street Fighter 2026.
For my last one, again, collecting great filmmakers here. This one I actually don't really sarcastically mean it. But this was probably the best trailer I saw all year. He's obviously, the subject of the movie is very controversial for a lot of different reasons, but it's got a good director, it's got a good writer, it's gonna have good music.
And some people don't care.
I'm not saying you shouldn't care. I'm just saying
I'm not saying that
I'm giving
either.
out my disclaimer about the subject matter, but we're of course talking about the Michael Jackson biopic directed by Antoine Fuqua, entitled Michael. Definitely gonna be seeing that in the movie theater this year.
Yeah. I
I
mean,
mean, are we biopicked out yet, or are we still doing these?
are we
We're
biopic?
biopicked out,
out
but I
is
think
a great
it
question.
just depends on how much you like. Like I don't care about Bruce Springsteen, but I care about Michael
That's
Jackson.
true. This is a good one. If you're gonna like finish, be done with it. Sort of in the way that I think Endgame made everybody be like, and we're done with comic book movies now.
Sure.
I feel like as far as biopics go, the Michael Jackson biopic's a good capstone.
So are they obligated to, like, if Elton John were to show up in the Michael Jackson biopic, does that have to be
Does
Taron
he have to
Egerton
look
now?
like
It's got to be Edgerton. Yeah. No, I think it does.
the
That's a good
although
biopic cinematic universe, aka real life?
that was really what I wanted for the Bob Dylan movie, Complete Unknown, because Mangold directed that, and Johnny Cash is a huge character in that movie, and I was a little bit like, where's Joaquin?
Yeah.
So, if they had done that, would I have been more interested in it? Maybe the MCU has broken my brain in such a way that I'm more compelled by people just playing the same character over and over.
Famously, the most interesting thing to talk about with any movie is where it fits into continuity.
I do also think that, like, are we done with biopics isn't what Marty Supreme's not about. Like
Okay.
there is a lot of how are we still doing this to Marty Supreme,
Sure. Yeah.
where I was compelled, like, it was made so much like a biopic for a movie that was just about a fictional character, and
Loosely based on a real guy, but yeah.
yeah had the trappings of a real dude for sure. All right, so our lists, which are surely being shown to you in some visual way right now. I have GTA 6, Star Wars, The Mandalorian and Grogu, Clayface, A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms, and Wuthering Heights. Jackson has Avengers Doomsday, the Super Mario Galaxy movie. I just wrote down the word Aang. Jack, what's the
The
full
Legend
title?
of Aang: The Last Airbender is the
Thank
name
you.
of the project.
007 First Light and Street Fighter, and Deepak has The Odyssey, Dune Part 3, Disclosure Day, Spider-Man, New Brand Day, and
New brand day. New branding day.
New Brand Home, and Michael, the Michael Jackson biopic. So head over to our social media, or if you're a subscriber to this website, just scroll on down and you will see your opportunity to vote. I think you can vote in a ton of places, right? You can definitely vote on our Twitter, which is at Nerdigo Media. You can definitely vote on YouTube. You can vote on our website if you're a paid subscriber, which means you also get to listen to Deepak and I talk about Miami Vice. So a lot of benefits to that. And we want to encourage you to vote in all those places. So vote as much as you'd like. Let your voice be heard. We will count all your votes, and we once we have a result, we'll let you know who won. We'll definitely get on here and brag about it. But until then, don't forget to stay tuned and subscribe. We will be back with the news on Sunday. As I said, Jack and I are going to let you know. Well, I guess the news.
We're going to be talking these books.
Yeah, on Sunday, Jack and I are going to be talking books. We'll have the news for you on Monday. We'll have a midweek Miami Vice drop if you're a paid subscriber to the Miami Vice episode. And then next Friday, Bruno and I back, letting you know what Optimus Prime's been getting up to in the comics. A lot of fun stuff coming in January. You don't want to miss any of it. Nerdigo.com. Subscribe now. Thanks so much for being here. I think the Nerd Out probably has a looser ending, so I think I just say goodbye.